So, Isabel, this is what I was thinking. Have you ever had a design where you're like, oh, this is painful, but I'm going to do it because this is what the client wants?
It starts off that way, but then it pivots. Like, there's some times where I'm like, dude, why did you hire me? Did you not look at my website first? Like, just to see my aesthetic? But then I really talk to them about like what pieces are sentimental and important, and then I never want to offend anyone. So I'm not coming in, and especially because it's not just about hurting feelings, but I know how important some things that are sentimental are. And so I'll just ask, okay, what pieces are staying? What pieces are and what pieces can I donate or replace?
And how do most of your clients, because I see you traveling all over, find you?
I think just word of mouth
Yeah.
referral, and because I'm like kind of getting famous.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I didn't even brag on all the places you've been. Tell people, you didn't mention this, all the places you've been highlighted recently.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yes, we've got some TV shows in the works, but Architectural Digest, Elle Decor. Oh, this is a huge, not humble brag. Today, I'll be in print in Southern Living. There's like a 2-page feature, and then about how it really is the spirit of design and how I do clothes and interiors, and it's actually a lot of what I just said today, but in 2 pages. And then I'm also in Traditional Home today. So, and then I've got a few cool features coming out. So
both those are coming out today?
Today.
So we'll find out about, she
today
gave her
stands.
talk, and they're on stands today.
Yeah.
So that's super exciting. We're celebrating with you. This is like your celebration party, right? Of all of your announcements. Well, and how, I also was thinking through this, do you think this is a trained eye, skilled over time, or do you think everyone has this eye?
So it could be a little bit of both, because not everyone has this eye.
I don't think so.
There are many people that I will I'll start asking them questions like, what nail heads do you want? Do you love this trim? And they're like, Isabel, I'm a doctor. I'm saving lives. Don't ask me about how frilly this trim is.
You ask us every day.
I do
We're
ask.
trying to do our homework.
I do ask the kids for their opinions sometimes. So it's not a trend. Not everyone wants to do it. I never went to school for this. I've not been technically trained. I went to school for textile design, and so that's just creating fabrics, and that's why perhaps why I'm so attracted to fabrics and colors. But one of my mottos is fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
So I'm not classically trained. I just have a knack for it, and I'm just always learning and always reading. And I read Pinterest. So I'm just always in magazines. So
constantly just learning, looking up new things.
Yeah, talking to people, going to shows. And I think that a really cool thing that I do that I would love to inspire other people to do is, I've said a few times, like, see something not for what it is, but what it could be. So I'll do this thing, I'll go into like an antique store, a thrift store, whatever, and I like blur my eyes just to try to like see the shape and be like, what else could this be? I've often, like, it could be, here's an example. You can find a table like this. Don't think of it as a table, rewire it to make it as a light fixture. Or you might find maybe 2 larger versions of this, and it could become now 2 table bases. Or 2 of these can now become 2 table bases for a coffee table, and you put a piece of marble on it. I literally made that up right now.
Yeah, this is how our mind thinks. Well, what questions do we have from the audience? Yeah, right here.
So, with a little bit smaller children,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I love this question. I need to stand up for this. Okay, I have always had a really pretty house since my kids were really little. And people would say, how do you keep such a pretty house when you've got little kids? I do not sacrifice style just because I have them. So when they were little, so it could be like, and I also don't use performance fabrics, like, oh, this sofa can like withstand anything. I might get like a darker color, and then I can get like Fiber Seal, which is this company that goes and protects your furniture and then cleans it up. But I'm not sacrificing style because of them. And so, but there's ways to put, like, this is a toy basket. And so I had these all around the house, and I just trained them to, like, you play with your toys, you make a mess, but then you put it back. In the kitchen, I have just just a row of cabinets. I made half the cabinets my stuff, and then half the cabinets their stuff. So, and actually, still to this day, there's like coloring books and the toys inside of them. And then there was a phase when because they're 9 and 10, they're 20 months apart. There was that phase, I forget what year it is because I just like blacked out, I feel like, in that very young phase. But it was that phase where they were just like grabbing everything and like So that was a time when I did take the pretty things off of the coffee table. But then when it was time to like get it back in, I decorated the bookshelves, I decorated the coffee table, and then I talked to them. I was like, okay, kids, we are back to having a really decorated, curated coffee table. So this is my design book. Look through it. Oh, I also have in our coffee table now, it's really pretty, like just having lots of cool things that express the story of who we are. But I do have some of my design books that I love, but I do have like their really pretty stuff, their books. They're not just their paperback like Clifford books. It's like pretty children's books. So I incorporate that, and then I've shown them and talked to them about what things are. And then I'm like, kids, this is Mommy's orchid. Isn't it pretty? Smell it. It doesn't smell. So let's not need to smell it so much more, you know? So it's really just like introducing the kids, but setting the ground rule that we're gonna have a pretty house. And also because I want them to have a pretty space. When spaces are pretty, you're most likely to tidy and keep it because you're proud of that space. And I've had many clients tell me that, oh, I hope that when you decorate my kids' room, my teenagers' room, that they'll start taking care of it. And the truth is they do.
Any other questions? Oh yeah, all the way in the back, Philip.
I have an ear infection, so I'm kind of, what's the question? I can't hear out this one. Yes, and I have actually thought of that. That was my last slide before I realized I was supposed to talk about something like that in this last slide. Okay, yes. So it is so important to implement just good design. And again, it doesn't have to be fancy furniture. It just has to be something that feels good. And it's so important to do that in after-school programs and extended days where the kids are in a transition between school and their home. So maybe they just need this safe, happy place to do their studies and to inspire. So I think that's really important in these after-school programs. It's really important in libraries. It's really important in centers that help people. Like I'm really involved in Step by Step, and so there was a time where in the beginning I walked into this office and it was all hand-me-down furniture. It's like nobody cared. It's like everyone's donations were just like jammed in there. But then we renovated it inexpensively, but just keeping some things and redoing it, and then other times replacing it. And so just that change of a small room makes those people feel inspired, uplifted. Somebody cares, but it's subconscious. You don't have to like connect all of those dots, but it's just sitting in just a nice feeling room. Helps that. So I think it's important in therapists' office, in guidance counselors, in jails. I think that's really important to create an environment that's not just so sterile and hostile, but who are the people that would really benefit from this emotionally and mentally and their mood, you know? So design should not be a luxury just for rich people who can afford an interior designer. Design should be thought of as, again, not having to, and I know that that's a slippery slope, that's a whole conversation for another day, but where we can try to make a difference, I do think that it's important, especially in kids in a young age.
Well,
Does that answer the question or not at all?
Yeah, I think absolutely. Well, and I think that's a great place because when we were brainstorming this talk, and that's something you really wanted to get through, is that no matter what your price range, you want to create these really beautiful spaces that make you happy. And so what's your last final bow, a piece of advice before we wrap up?
Well, hold on, one thing just before
yeah,
that.
go for it.
Sometimes it could just be, like say that you don't have a budget to do all of these things. Just maybe take a screwdriver and go around the house and just like fix all of the cabinet doors that are hanging. Or you have something that, or maybe just repaint some cabinets, and you can get paint from a Habitat for Humanity, something like that. But maybe just going around your space and just cleaning it up. We don't have to have that could just be a start.
And then what's your last piece of your bow that you want to leave everyone today? They're going to go off for the month, be inspired.
Decorate for you. What brings you joy? Everything that comes into your space, ask yourself, does it bring me joy? And if the answer is yes, welcome it in. If it's no, don't take it in.
Decorate for you. Well, everyone give Isabel one last applause. I am so honored to have her as this talk, especially since you've been so attached to Creative Mornings for so long. You've been assisting the creative community in Lexington for so long. We will all go look at the magazines today.
Thank you.
Follow you along as you get on your show or wherever you go next. But I also want to thank all of you guys for being a part of Creative Mornings. This is just really awesome, and our goal is that you went off, you were inspired today, you heard a great talk from someone that was creative in the community, you met someone new, you had some great coffee, you had some great food. Also, please grab a biscuit on your way out, take it to someone at work or at home because we have plenty of extra biscuits, and that we were in a beautiful space. So thank you again, Shelly, thank you again, Sal, thank you again to all of our volunteers that made this happen. Thank you to Ethan at Studio 46. And with that, we like to end with everyone is creative and everyone is welcome. Thank you.